Elena is alone in a dimly lit room, sorting through her late husband's belongings. Suddenly, a shadow moves outside the window, and her instincts kick in. The sound of creaking floorboards, the flicker of a dying candle, and her sharp breath as she realizes she's being watched. A knock on the door breaks the tension. It's Daniel, her late husband's brother, looking disheveled and tense. His urgency unsettles Elena. Through terse, clipped dialogue, Daniel warns Elena, "You're not safe here. You need to leave. Now." Daniel refuses to explain fully but drops enough hints to set the stakes. "There are things about your husband's death you don't know. If you stay, you'll be in danger too." Before Elena can process what Daniel is saying, there's a loud crash downstairs. Someone, or something, is trying to break in. Daniel grabs her arm, his voice low but urgent. "Do you trust me?" Elena and Daniel escape into the dark streets. The world outside is tense and atmospheric, low-hanging fog, distant murmurs of the city, and the faint glow of streetlights casting long shadows. The chill of the air against Elena's skin, the crunch of gravel underfoot, and the flicker of neon signs reflecting in puddles. They move quickly, Daniel leading her with an air of urgency, glancing over his shoulder as though someone is following them. Daniel brings Elena to an abandoned warehouse or a secluded cabin far from the city. The space is stark and eerie, cracked windows, flickering bulbs, and faint traces of a life once lived. The environment mirrors Elena's growing unease, emphasizing her disconnection from the world she thought she knew. As Daniel locks the doors and checks the surroundings, he explains just enough to intrigue and alarm Elena. "It wasn't just a car accident. There's more to what happened to my brother. And now, they're after you." References to shadowy figures, mysterious calls, or hidden alliances tied to her late husband. Why does he care so much? What isn't he telling me? His clenched jaw, the way his hand hovers near his pocket, and the intensity in his gaze when he looks at Elena. The setting becomes a backdrop for the tension between them. Elena demands answers, but Daniel evades her questions, focusing instead on keeping her safe. "Elena, why are you doing this, Daniel? Why now?" "Daniel, because I couldn't protect him. But I can protect you." The sound of footsteps outside the safe house. A text message on Daniel's phone, "You can't hide her forever." Leave readers with a sense of foreboding, as both Elena and Daniel realize they're running out of time. Headlights closing in behind them, tires screeching, and Daniel's calculated maneuvers to evade their pursuers. The car jerking as Daniel swerves, Elena gripping the door handle, and the thundering roar of engines growing louder. They narrowly escape but not without damage. Daniel's car breaks down, forcing them to go on foot. They find temporary refuge in a hidden location Daniel knows, a safe house he prepared in advance. The setting is stark and utilitarian, with supplies but no comfort. Elena pushes for answers, and Daniel finally gives in, revealing a larger piece of the puzzle. Her husband was involved in an underground syndicate, using his position to smuggle illicit goods. The group believes Elena has a key, literal or metaphorical, that could expose their operation. Elena begins to question everything she thought she knew about her husband, Daniel, and herself. She decides she can't just sit back and be protected. She wants to fight back, even if it means uncovering painful truths. Elena realizes that to survive, she must rely on herself, not just Daniel. "Elena, you've been hiding things from me from the start. How do I even know I can trust you?" "Daniel, you don't have a choice. If I hadn't stepped in, you'd already be dead." The argument reaches a breaking point when Daniel admits he's been in love with her for years. His feelings complicate their already tense relationship. "Daniel, I wanted to tell you, but he was my brother. And you were his." Elena is stunned, torn between anger, confusion, and a flicker of something deeper. They discover a lead, a piece of evidence tied to her husband's dealings that could expose the syndicate or turn the tables on their pursuers. Daniel warns Elena of the risks, but she insists on being part of the plan. "Elena, I'm done running. If I don't face this now, I'll never be free." Their growing partnership begins to shift. Elena starts to trust Daniel, not just as a protector, but as an ally. They arrange a meeting with a third party who claims to have information about her husband's dealings. The meeting is fraught with tension, a shadowy figure in a dimly lit location, cryptic conversations, and the constant sense of danger. The third party betrays them, revealing their location to the syndicate, setting up the next high-stakes confrontation. Elena and Daniel are ambushed at the meeting location. The syndicate's enforcers descend in force, leaving them surrounded. The setting is chaotic, dim lighting, echoing footsteps, and the crackle of tension in the air. Daniel fights back with calculated precision, but they are outnumbered. Elena, though terrified, finds her courage and steps into the fray, using quick thinking to disable one of their attackers. During the chaos, Elena overhears a key piece of information: the location of the syndicate's leader, who has the answers she seeks and the leverage to stop the pursuit. With no time to lose, Elena and Daniel make a daring escape, stealing a vehicle in the process. The chase resumes, but this time, the stakes are higher. They're heading straight toward the lion's den, and every second counts. Arriving at an opulent but foreboding estate, Elena and Daniel infiltrate the premises. The atmosphere is tense, with guards patrolling and every step echoing like a drumbeat of danger. Elena insists on confronting the leader herself, asserting her newfound strength and determination. "Elena, this ends with me. I'm not running anymore." Daniel reluctantly agrees, staying close but letting her take the lead. In a gripping standoff, Elena faces the syndicate leader, a suave but menacing figure who knows far more about her past than she expected. Elena's husband was not just involved in the syndicate, he was planning to betray them, and his death was no accident. Worse, he left behind a crucial piece of evidence that implicates the syndicate, but also ties Elena to his crimes. "Leader, you think you're innocent? You've been part of this from the start, whether you knew it or not. Give up the evidence and walk away, or keep it and face certain destruction." But Elena has an unexpected card to play. A small clue from earlier in the story leads her to realize the leader has a vulnerability, something they didn't anticipate. Elena uses her quick wit and emotional intelligence to turn the tables, exposing the leader's weakness in front of their own men. The syndicate begins to crumble from within, as doubt and betrayal ripple through their ranks. Walk away with her name cleared and her freedom intact, or expose everything, even if it risks more danger down the road. Daniel urges her to choose safety, but Elena makes a bold decision to ensure no one else suffers as she has. As they leave the estate, the physical danger is over, but the emotional stakes linger. "Elena, I'm not the same person I was. But maybe that's a good thing. Daniel, you're stronger than you think. You always have been." The collapse of the syndicate sends shockwaves through the criminal underworld. Elena's bold decision to expose their secrets has left her vulnerable but also liberated. News spreads of the syndicate's fall, with law enforcement stepping in to clean up the remnants. Elena and Daniel retreat to a quiet, remote location to regroup and process everything that has transpired. The betrayal by her husband, the truth about his life, and her own transformation from a sheltered woman to someone who took control of her destiny. A poignant scene shows her looking through an old keepsake, perhaps a photo or letter, that symbolizes her past, before she lets it go, symbolizing her growth. Daniel is by her side, but he respects her independence and her need to find her own way. Their bond is stronger now, built on mutual trust and shared trials. "Daniel, you don't need me to protect you anymore." "Elena, maybe not. But that doesn't mean I don't want you here." The dialogue hints at a new chapter for their connection, one that feels grounded and authentic. Elena steps into her new life with clarity and purpose. She takes active steps to rebuild, whether it's starting a new career, reconnecting with estranged family, or pursuing a cause she's passionate about. A scene shows her walking confidently into a new environment, symbolizing her embrace of the unknown and her willingness to face the future. Elena receives a message or hint that not all threads are tied up, a reminder of the complexity of life and the lingering echoes of her choices. However, she smiles, knowing she's strong enough to face whatever comes next. The final sentence lingers in the reader's mind: evoking both closure and the sense of a journey continuing. For the first time in a long time, Elena felt ready to live, to fight, to hope.